Hey guys, Ellie here, and to be honest, I feel like there are a lot of misconceptions about what physio involves, because it is different for different people. Depending on the reason you're going to physio, it should be different. That's just how it is. There is no one solution fixes everything. Recently, I've been focusing a lot on Tai Chi based movements. I've actually discovered that I love Tai Chi, and I bought a book to teach myself more about it. I've been reading up on it a lot, because it's my new passion project. For a long time, I was doing Pilates-based movement. Lengthening exercises work well for my disability because every time I try to move quickly, whilst I can do it, it inhibits the amount of strength that I can build because muscle tone just kicks in and the muscle doesn't actually work properly. So, as a general rule, in my physio, personally, I focus on slow, controlled movement. That's the best strength builder for me. Today, I want to show you a few of the things that I've been working on recently in physio. My physio sessions have evolved a lot over the past 3 years. I started out, of course, with getting major muscles back to working, because after my brain surgery, my brain didn't connect to my muscles properly. So at first, physio for me was really focused on getting my body moving again, no matter what it took. Now it's more focused on slow, small movements. It's focused on building balance and building strength in the smaller muscle groups that are harder to work and haven't been utilised as much. It's focused on perfecting movements. Something that I've recently been working on a lot, for example, is getting my left bicep to work again. Because when I was first training my arm back into moving, I was told that it was more important to get it moving at all and not to focus too much on what muscles were controlling it. So everything came from the shoulder. If I was trying to do a bicep curl, it would not be a bicep, it would be that. Not great for isolated strength movements. So recently, I've been really working on actually trying to utilise my bicep, my triceps, all of the muscles that I wasn't using before because everything from that arm just came from my shoulder. And that's great because it was paralysed 3 years ago. It was moving again, and that was really useful for me. But now it's ready to progress and actually move properly. I'm not doing any of my normal strength work today. Today is entirely focused on recovery. This morning I had a remedial massage, which is insane for releasing tension in my body. Because I can't use all of my muscles quite how a physically able person would, they get very tight. So they need to be released or I end up with migraines. But because I've had a massage, today I'm not going to be focusing on anything too intense on my muscles. I'm going to be stretching them out, doing some physio, and probably having a soak in a bath later, because I just need my muscles to recover from my workouts today. And that's something that I think is not focused on enough. It is within the fitness industry, but a lot of people don't actually research or are just not that focused on stretching. It's something that really needs more attention, I think, because recovery is really important for any fitness goal. Muscle growth, recovery time is where your muscles actually build. It's really important to stay mobile. Trust someone who couldn't move 3 years ago. So, I want to show you some of the things that I've been doing in physio recently, just to show you that it's not all about learning to walk again. It's actually about learning to perfect my form, learning to move my toes again, because that's something people don't realise the importance of in improving your gait. You flex your toes as you step. That's how you walk. You use your calf muscle as you walk, something that's really hard for me too. There are a lot of things that people don't realise I've been doing. I made a whole video once this year on how I had no core strength because I spent so long on the couch trying to keep my seizures under control before my brain surgery, and how I've had to build that up at the same time as rehabbing out of partial paralysis. There are a lot of things I've done that people don't recognise, and I think they need to be recognised more. Not because I'm saying I've done an amazing job, but because small amounts of strength that I'm missing can make a huge amount of difference. And it's the same for anyone. The importance of recovery and of exercising small muscle groups should not be ignored. The first thing I always do when I'm about to practice Tai Chi or Tai Chi based exercises is take my socks and shoes off. This is for two reasons. One, because the toes on my affected foot like to claw the ground like they don't think gravity exists. They're trying to keep me on the earth. I need to pay attention to what my foot is doing, or I could end up getting hurt. And the other reason is it makes me feel much more grounded and as though I'm actually here doing the movement. Shoes separate me from actually feeling everything I'm doing, and that's not good for exercise like Tai Chi that's focused on mindfulness. So the first thing I will say is I've just done 20 minutes of stretching. I'm not so fussed about warming up as I usually would be, but I'm still going to do a bit, because warming up is a hugely important part of any exercise. Without warming up, you're risking injury, you're risking so much damage to your body, and exercise should not be damaging. So when it comes to Tai Chi, it's stuff like hip circles. Yes, I know they look silly. They do the job. And I'll see if I can get my legs in the shot. Okay, so you can't see my feet, which is really what I wanted you to pay attention to. I'll basically shift my weight to one leg and roll around on my toes to loosen up my ankle and my feet. I can hear my ankle clicking right now. It's actually an amazing warm-up exercise, and I think that Tai Chi is something anyone can utilise. The weight shift here is actually really difficult for me because I'm putting all of my weight through my left leg, which is my weak leg from surgery. And on this side, it's going to be hard for me to actually complete the movement with that leg. It's not nearly so free. But this is also exactly what helps me. The other exercise that I've learned with my physio, which I like utilising for a warm-up, I can't talk, is simply going into a little bit of a squat and allowing myself to rotate, bringing my feet with me. This is huge on weight shift, and actually used to be a workout in its own right. But I built a lot of strength this year, and now I use it in my warm-ups. Something else I always bring into warming up is just a plain, simple weight shift. I'll bend my knees slightly to bring any locking out of the equation, because my left leg does like to hyperextend, and I'll just rock. This is very strange for me because the left side of my body still doesn't feel quite the same, and I don't always know when I've gone all the way to where I need to be. I usually use a mirror for this, but it's not the most helpful thing in the world because I am vision impaired and I can't necessarily see where I am in the mirror. I'm happy with that warm-up. Now let's move on to some of the things that I've actually done in physio. It's very focused on weight shift for me because I really don't distribute my weight evenly. quite hard once you've been partially paralysed to actually put weight through both sides of your body. So I won't let my knees go straight. I keep them bent. I shift my weight as much as I possibly can. Usually feels a bit like I'm going to fall, but we'll try not to do that today. I'm going to bring my knee up, trying to move slowly. That one was bad. Always is the first time. I really don't trust that leg today. It's okay. I'm doing this to be real with you. I really struggle with this kind of exercise. Slow movement is the hardest for me. Okay. This doesn't feel like it should be so hard, but it really is. If you've ever tried slow movements like this, you'll know exactly what I mean. Okay. So I'm going to try and bring that into a bit of a rotating step. And there's a cramp in my hip. Let's get rid of that. You'll notice I don't trust this leg. Yeah, and for good reason. It's really hard to trust a side of your body that you're not fully aware of. I'm proud of how I cope most of the time. In fact, I'm proud of how I cope all the time. I'm doing a great job for someone who's been partially paralysed. You weren't meant to move then. Yes, I talk to my own body when I'm doing this. That was not slow. See, this is why I wanted to show you just how hard everything is in physio for me. People tend to assume that it isn't super hard, and it's not compared to some exercise. You don't get the same muscle burn, but that doesn't make it easy. Alright, I'm going to bring my arms into it a bit. This is the arm that was paralysed, so it's not going to do as good a job. Where I need to, I will guide it. I am in no way claiming to be a Tai Chi expert. This is just what I do at physio. But it is Tai Chi based, and it's helped me hugely. Okay, and the other thing that I will always do when I'm doing this kind of exercise is what my physio calls ninja walks. Crouch down and shifting your weight, try to silently sneak up on someone. Sneaking up on someone backwards, harder. I'll also try some actual Tai Chi based walking, which is pretty much weight shift, slow step. I can either keep going forwards like this or shift back and step backwards, which is equally hard for me. Hardest part of this is not locking out my knee. That's really challenging because my knee does want to hyperextend to help, but it's not helpful. And those are some of the exercises that I always do when I'm practicing Tai Chi based movement for physio. Very important is a cool down. I'm actually just going to be doing some normal stretches for this. I could do some of the exercises I did at warm up to. For example, the really silly looking hip circles, but they do their job, so don't pay attention to how silly you feel. It's an important thing with all kinds of exercise, I think, to never worry about how you look or how silly you feel. If something hurts, absolutely pay attention and stop. But if you just think you look silly, you're probably fine. Okay, forgot to weight shift. That usually happens when I've just finished practicing this. Can't go a single session without forgetting at least once. Okay, so the point of today was just to show you that what I do in physio may sound like it's going to be easy, but it never is. That would be hard for someone with no physical disability. I'm always pushing myself, even if it means a mindful exercise. I know that session wasn't incredibly mindful because I was talking the entire time, and usually I wouldn't do that. But I wanted to show you exactly what it is I do. Another thing I often try to do through physio is try to move things like my toes and my fingers, because they don't really move, and it's important to try and bring everything I can back. So I hope you've learned something about disabilities and about physio, and that you'll understand, for me, physio isn't just making big muscle groups work. It's all about balance, slow movement, everything that my disability actually needs is to be found in things like Tai Chi. I guess all I want to say now is have a lovely Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hi guys.